Mondays are for actions, weekends are for the reactions. We're going to get more updates on that this wonderful morning. But permit me to welcome you to Dominion Sports right here on Dominion Television, your channel of choice, where we give you everything sport right here on the go. From the local stories, we're head straight down to the world of CHAN, also the CAF Confederation Cup. We have the first round preliminary stage update for you. Also we've got an update for you from the world of transfer, from the local scene and also the international scene. Also, Liverpool, yes, lost to Crystal Palace on penalty shootout. We're going to give you, all the updates on that game that happened over the weekend right here. Also, remember the Afro Basket, the Tigers have a game coming up this week in Angola. Likewise, also, CHAN Eagles also have a game also coming up right there, still in Tanzania. So it's back-to-back actions right here for you. So let me ask you, how was the weekend for you? What were the highs and where were the lows for you over the weekend? I am Abe Toluwanimi, they come the Radio Paparazzi, and I have the captain himself right here with me, Mr. Samson. Samson himself in the building, looks amazing, the tie,
Today's Monday anyway.
Actually, looks Monday. So quickly, and so let me ask you, what were your highs and lows over the weekend in the world of sports?
I think there were so many events that actually shaped the weekend in the world of sports. Talking about the FA Community Shield, for the first time since 2022, I think, the FA Cup winner actually went on with the Community Shield. So something different, a shift from what we used to see in the last 3 years. Yeah. So obviously that also, it's a big one. And we saw some friendlies from some teams. Chelsea, for example, played against Milan, and a host of other teams also, getting some minutes and getting themselves in shape ahead of the EPL season that is to kick off next weekend. So by weekend, so it's a whole lot to talk about, and definitely the high was actually the community shield.
Yeah. All right. So quickly, quickly, yes, and let me know your highs and the lows for the weekend right there in the comment section. Remember, on YouTube, you can also subscribe, tell somebody about the channel, and also make sure you comment, make sure you turn on the notification bell, and make sure you subscribe right there. Moving away from that, let's look at the stories making the round in the world of the local news this morning. NPFL suspend Plateau United goalkeeper over alleged betting allegations. The Nigeria Premier League of Football, NPFL, has suspended Plateau United goalkeeper Adewale Adeyinka over his alleged involvement in betting activities. The allegations was leveled against him by the Plateau United team, and I quote, "We write to inform you of the immediate suspension of your registration as a player in the Nigeria Football League. This is due to the ongoing investigation into allegations of inside betting leveled against you by your club, Plateau United FC. And also, this has become necessary as information reaching us indicate that you refuse to sign a contract with a prospective new club because of a clause of immediate termination of your contract." Now, quickly, let me read out the rules that state about this betting allegations right here. You have to note that in Article 15.5, Section B of the Framework and Rules of the NPFL prohibit all players from being involved in betting, and this is punishable under Section C of the same rule. Let me ask you, Captain, it's been back and forth with situations like this. We see it mostly in European football. Also, I think we had that, little bit of that in the NPFL last season. But right now, this is coming to our report this morning that the goalkeeper of Plateau United, Adewale, has been suspended for betting allegations.
Actually, it's not a good one to see that a player in the NPFL is found wanting in this kind of situation. But on the other hand, I think it's really encouraging to see football teams coming against their own player that, we suspect you have done this. Before you bring the disrepute to the team, it is better we push you out there for the league management body to actually take care of the situation. So I feel that is fine on behalf of Plateau United. Other teams who could actually have, swept that under the carpet and then make it look like nothing happened. So it's really a good one from Plateau United. Kudos to the general manager. Kudos to the management of Plateau United for actually coming forward with this. But then on the part of the player, there is still room for investigation actually, because sometimes when the allegations are leveled against players, you realize the fact that it's not as serious, or probably it didn't even happen. So, but then the main point is suspected to have done it. And until you are found guilty, you are still a suspect. So he's still a suspect. I don't think anyone should drag him just yet. We feel like there is room for thorough investigation into the happenings, how it happened, and why it happened. Though some players are fond of doing that actually, they are fond of placing bets, but then they do that aside, and sometimes you see players given club circled information to
other clubs
like so thing will be happening, or maybe just to their friends and family. I'm going to be yellow carded in this game. We have seen it happen so many times in the EPL and of course in the championship. So these are things that should not happen, because it's more or less like you endangering the authenticity of the league. And if that continues and deterrents are not given to who deserves it, I think it's going to be a problem. But now that this has come to the open, I feel like the league management company at the NPFL will sit down and investigate thoroughly. And if he's found guilty, of course, the rule says he will be suspended. And then now depends on if the club can still go ahead having a contract with him, which could lead to gross termination of his contract. And there are allegations that he failed to sign a contract with the club, because he knew that if he's suspended, the team might just terminate his contract, and when he's coming back, he gets a big sign-on fee, with another team that is going to. But mind you, if he's found guilty, it might be difficult for him to come back in the NPFL and really get a good team. Or maybe even if he gets, gets a chance, does it even mean he's going to get a chance at all? So these are things they should look at, and I just pray and hope that these allegations are unfounded.
All right, yes, sir. And that's the update, coming through from the situation of Plateau United and Adewale, with the betting rules there stating that, as a player, you don't have the right to do that, when playing for a club side. Moving away from that, let's look at the story making the rounds also in the Value Jet competition. Now, let me just explain this swiftly for you. It's just like if you follow the preseason, you'll see that Manchester United had a summer series with West Ham, Bournemouth right there, and it just that is just what this looks like also ahead of the season to come. Remember, it's 12 days to go to the NPFL, and we have teams already preparing for the season ahead. Ikorodu City in the competition, we have Shooting Stars, we have Remo Stars, we have Kwara United, we have Rivers United, and we have Abia Warriors. Now quickly, Ikorodu City against Shooting Stars played at the one goal to nil, yes, in favor of Ikorodu City. Remo Stars played out 2-1 also. We have Rivers United and Abia Warriors played out a goalless draw. Now, quickly, Captain, let me ask you, looking at this competition, what does it stand? I mean, what do you think this would help, the teams like Shooting Stars, Ikorodu City ahead of next season? Having to look at Shooting Stars already losing, the preseason. Remo Stars are still on high. You look at the under-19, they're doing fantastic right there. You look at the big team also doing fantastic. What does it, help the team shape come next season?
I think it's actually important for teams to have shape-up games like this, especially important ones. Playing against the best teams in the league actually puts you in the right shape. You already know exactly what your team is capable of doing going into the season. Because if you start playing against minors and you play against smaller teams, you think you are a good team until the season starts and you realize the fact that you are not even near. And this is more or less like Remo Stars, they are used to this, and majority of their players, 90% of the players they used in executing the league last season, they are still with the team. So there is a level of consistency in how things are done at Remo Stars. When it comes to pay, players are well paid, their welfareism is intact, so it gives these players the room to actually stay with them, feeling like, oh, if I leave this team means that I want to travel. So that's exactly what is happening at Remo Stars. And I think that is what should be replicated with other teams
clubs,
in the NPFL. There should be a level of trust in the players in the team, and of course there should be a level of consistency the player brings to the team in terms of performance. And if these things are done and the team and the players meet at the same spot, automatically there is a tendency for success, which is happening at Remo Stars. Consistently, they have tried, and eventually they won the trophy. And we just hope that consistently they have been trying to go to the Continental, and eventually they'll be able to be a mainstay at the Continental level. They are not just going to crash out at the group stage. So, coming back to the friendly games we are currently seeing in the NPFL, it has not been too good or rosy for Shooting Stars Sports Club of Ibadan. But then we'll just implore Shooting Stars fans to be a little bit patient. This is a whole new setup. These players are majority of these players are new, and you know, the technical crew, everything, even to the media officer, everything has changed. So they are seeing new faces at the training ground every morning now, and that tells you that they need to get used to Coach Nuruddin Awero's style of play, how he wants you to think on the field of play, because it's a different thing to what Gbenga Ogunbote used to have. Awero is the kind of coach that wants you to put the ball on the ground, and then you mount pressure on your opponent. We saw him do that with Ikorodu last season, and that's the kind of football you want to play at, with the Oluyole Warriors, when you have wingers, you have attackers who can actually bite, and of course mount pressure on the opposition defense. That's exactly what he brings on board, and that's why you see that the recruitment process for Shooting Stars, if you look holistically, you realize the fact that they are looking at players who have cutting-edge ability to penetrate the opposition defense. And if Shooting Stars can actually succeed in bringing in quality midfielders who actually can give you the pass in the final third, and then you have attackers who can actually cut in from both sides and then, supply the necessary passes to the out and out striker out front. I think it's going to be a really interesting one. But this is a process. It's a phase. It's a phase. Nobody said it's going to come easy. And of course, the management of Shooting Stars also know that this is going to happen. So bringing in fresh players, they're just not going to become Chelsea overnight. They are definitely going to go through some processes. And this is exactly what is happening now. Right. So Shooting Stars fans should just calm down. And then this kind of game is going to shape them. That they are losing to teams, Ikorodu City. Ikorodu City was in the top 4 last season, top 4, top 5. So it tells you that they have been consistent. And when you look at the Ikorodu City now, just that the coach left, and a few of the technical backroom staff left. But the bulk of the players that executed the league last season are still there. So it means there's a level of consistency transferred from last season into this season. So if we can get that right with Shooting Stars, a little bit of patience, a little bit of hard work, and a little bit of consistency, it will happen.
All right. Yes, eventually that will happen with Shooting Stars. Remember, again, the Value Jet Cup, where we have 6-team league format happening right there in Remo Stars Stadium, Ikenne, Ogun State. And come on, I think everybody right now are just moving straight down to Ikenne, because that's where you have the best facilities right now. And I just hope other teams can step up, to give us grand worthy facilities where we can enjoy good football right here. Speaking of that, speaking of Remo Stars, NPFL are doing something fantastic this season, especially new teams coming to the league. You see Kun Khalifat, you see Baroa FC also making major transfers, for next season. But right now, let's talk Remo Stars. They are making a major transfer and they have a man back in the locker. Let's watch the video. When we are back, you get to know the man we're talking about.
Where it all began. My first taste of top flight football. My first lesson in pain and passion. Since then, I have worn many jerseys, scored many goals across Nigeria and beyond. Every pitch taught me something new. Every city shaped me. But no matter how far I went, this club, this badge, it stayed with me. Now, I am back, stronger, smarter, ready. This time, I am not here to start. I'm here to finish what I couldn't. This club has grown. The ambition is bigger. The dream is alive. Remo Star is home. Let's write a new chapter together.
Yes, Victor Mbahoma is the name, and he's saying it's not yet to start, it's just yet to finish. Yes, and let me inform you that Remo Stars have announced the resigning of club former captain Victor Mbahoma. Yes, returns to the league after 2 years stint in Rwanda. Yes, during his time in the NPFL, he scored 51 goals. Captain, how do you see this one? For Remo Stars, the media. I think now there's now a reshape. In the media, with major clubs. You see Shooting Stars, are doing that. You see Remo Stars, other clubs are now trying to, reshape their media, when announcing players, match day games, pre-season. We've seen, fantastic thing, aside from this player. So 2 questions now. The media are reshaping, what we want, clubs in Nigeria to look like, and also the new signing, Victor Mbahoma, back into Remo Stars.
I think they are both excellent things to see. I have always thought, when will it be that time when the NPFL will be a sign also of all eyes? People would want to sit and watch. There used to be a time that people would travel from all the way from the east and north to watch Shooting Star Sports Club of Ibadan play, and some will even beg to be in your vehicle to go to these match venues just to watch them.
Amazing,
it's not because
times.
they were comfortable doing it. It's because they just wanted to be a part of what was happening. Yeah, the passion they had for the team, and all that went under the carpet the moment the league management body started this attitude of, okay, whatever happens, it's fine.
It's fine.
So there was no level of when okay, let's take for example, if you are playing a CAF competition,
yes,
they will definitely come and check your pitch, check the standard of the pitch you have. If they feel is not of the quality they want, they tell you can probably go to another stadium within your territory to play. Yeah. That's exactly what we should be saying in the NPFL. If the pitch is not good enough or does not have what it takes to actually host an NPFL game, why not play somewhere else? We have seen Shooting Stars gone as far as Ijebu to play their league games. Where Kwara United has once played at the Adamasimba Stadium. It doesn't matter where you are playing as long as it meets the standard. But over time, I think that has shifted anyway. In the last 2-3 years, we have seen teams trying to improve on their facilities, which is fine. The other thing is that there should be training facilities for these teams. You don't train on the pitch you use to execute your home games. So because this is wear and tear. No matter how hard you try to invest in your pitches and then make sure that it's up to standard, if you train week in, week out on that pitch, it will lose quality. So automatically there should be a training facility, and I think Shooting Stars also has one now. Remo Stars is the go-to place for every team in the NPFL now. They always want to be there because the facilities are top notch, from the gym to the training facility to even to the accommodation. Everything is intact. Everything is top notch. So it tells you that we are improving. Now, when it comes to media and branding, it should not be rocket science in the first place. But because too many teams are not looking in that direction, it's not about bringing a young-minded person on board.
True.
It's about bringing someone that knows the job, no matter how old that person is. If you understand the psyche of how the Nigerian media system works, automatically that person is qualified to be your brand manager. Yeah. So there should be, the team has an image. Yeah. Players also have their images separately. So who is managing these images? Sometimes you see team players, at some places I will be wondering, aren't these footballers, aren't these superstars? There should be a way they are packaged. But then the problem is, some of these players are not even well paid. So they cannot live the lifestyle people expect them to live. And we understand that. And the improvement is coming. Players are now beginning to get paid. There's a salary cap. You cannot pay players less than so amount. It is better for you to have less players than pay them less. That's exactly what we are saying now, which is fine. Now, going to still talking about the media. So what we are seeing now is videos of unveiling, top-notch graphic designs. These are good, really good, really important. But then, how are we doing the rural penetration? There are people who do not have access to social media, and they are supporters of football. I think I mentioned that when Shooting Stars started all this rebranding of it. I said, look, when we are talking about brand, how about the Babelero in OJ that doesn't understand how to press a smartphone, doesn't even know Nurudi Awero is here? Who's going to break that news to such person? So there should be a medium where this information is passed across, and it's fine. But then Victor Bauma coming on board, I think it's a very important one.
51 goals.
It's a statement signing by Remo Stars. And obviously, this has been a long time coming. Sikiru Alimi has been their top striker for 2-3 years. And he has also tried. But then there should be an alternative to Sikiru Alimi. Victor Mbama brings something different to what Sikiru Alimi will bring on board. Victor Mbama is spacey and very quick, has nimble feet, can dribble, can also play anywhere on
wonderful free kicks
in the front line. And then when it is time for set pieces, he's always there to deliver. So it's a very important one. And before he left the league for Rwanda, he made a very big impact on the NPFL. I think at the point he was top scorer.
Yeah, he was top scorer,
I think that was with Eyimba. So consistently he has been a top performer in the NPFL. And coming back to Remo Stars, where everything is now soft. Remo Stars is now considered to be some of the go-to teams in the NPFL. And then if you want to mention some of the best teams in the NPFL now, before you mention 5 teams, even though let's remove tradition. Because when we talk about traditional teams, you begin to mention Shooting Stars, Eyimba, Rivers United, Kano Pillars. These are traditional teams. But if traditional teams are not performing, new generation teams are doing well. And then out of the new generation teams that have consistently been there, you put Remo Stars first. Then you put the likes of Ikorodu City, Sporting Lagos. They are doing fine. Kun Kalifat is here. And we have seen what they have been doing, making statement signings. This is what we want to see. And if this pace continues, I think the NPFL will definitely be the best league in Africa.
Amazing. All right, yes, that's just the goal to see how NPFL can become the best league in Africa, because we have a representation right there in the CAF Confederation Cup. So we want NPFL to make a bold statement in such competitions like this. Moving away from that, we're still talking the world of transfer. Let's head straight down to Barua FC, the newly promoted side, making major statement and just signed a 2-season deal with Michael Narua. Yes, that's the name of the player. Michael has just signed a new deal right there. The winger striker joined the Malia boys from Bendel Insurance. Also, newly promoted side Barua FC have now the sign of 10 players. 10 key players. Abraham Kwame, Samuel Matthias. We have Sunday Anthony. We have Abubakar Ashibwewu. We have Yusuf Mohammed. We have Emmanuel Okoro Jr. We have Adamu Usani. We have Alari, Akwawu, we have Kabiru Abdullah, and we have Michael Zuruma. Those are the players signed by Barua FC, the newly promoted side. Also, Kun Kalifat FC are delighted to announce the sign of Uche Moses from Abia Warriors as a new winger. The defender signed a new 2-year contract with the side. These signings, new clubs in the NPFL, I'm sure, with these signings, they have a target for themselves for next season. Quickly.
Yeah, interestingly, this also happens in all the leagues in the world. Take, for example, when you look at the English Premier League, when new teams are coming on board, they know that the set of players they paraded and when they executed the championship games might not necessarily be the quality of players that will be able to play in the APL. So what they do is they retain their best legs and then show up the team a little bit, bring in more quality players and more experienced players. And then when you look at the current set of players, the set of players they will buy, they are probably players that are doing fine averagely in the league, in the top league, or some that are in the top league, have the experience, but are not getting the game time they deserve in their team. So when they come on board, the experience definitely counts.
Yeah.
And that's what they need, because you can't just, the MPFL is so tough that you can't just words in and no words out. So what you do is you come in, try to make a statement by, bringing in quality players, experienced ones. And what we are currently seeing with Kun Khalifat and Barawa FC, these are not something new. At least for the team that is just coming on board, at least they need minimum of 5, 6, 7 new players, experienced ones who have played in the MPFL, talented ones at that, to help them execute the league games, because you can't come into the MPFL and start losing scandalously. So even if you are not good enough to stay in the league, at least you make a statement.
Make a statement.
You try your. We've seen that happen recently. Sporting Lagos did something like that. So consistently, we'll be seeing something like this, especially for teams that are coming in after a long time, or probably teams that are coming in for the first time. So this will happen, and congratulations to all the players. But then they should know that this is not the time to rest. In fact, it's a challenge, because bringing you on board to a newly promoted team means that they count on you to come and make a difference. So you cannot just be another player in the team. You have to be the best player in the team. So that's the difference. If you are being signed by Yimba Football Club of Aba now, or maybe Rangers, or maybe Rivers United, you are going there to meet some stars. So automatically you want to play with the team and then see how you can actually push the team forward. So your contribution might not be that much, since you have quality players in the team, because you cannot overdo. But in a team like this Kun Khalifat, you are being brought on board to come and make the difference, because they know that you have been pointed at just because they know you have the talent, you have the experience, and you have the technical know-how to help them push the league at least for the next 38 games. But be that as it may, signings will come. In fact, there are still more signings to come. And most definitely, the players should also know that it's a call to save, not just the usual thing we used to see.
All right, yes, it's a call to save, and not just the usual thing we used to see. The statements, from captain himself. But moving away from that, let's look at the preseason result over the weekend. Kano Pillars, they played a 4-0 win against the CFC right there. Yimba against IA also played out a 2-goal lead against that side. Rivers against Abia Warriors. Remember, these two teams will be in the CAF competition this season. Also, we have Rangers International against DFC also. That game ended 6-0. We have Ikorodu City against the Shooting Stars. That game ended 1-0. That's the Value Jet Cup. And also Remo Stars against one big name. Kwara United also played that 2-1. Let's move away from the preseason. Let's head straight down to the CAF competition. There's a big one. The draws are out already. The first round draw starting from the 19th to the 21st of September. That's how we're going to see that game. And we have Remo Stars right there. They're going to take on Zili Maju team right there in CAF. That's the CAF Champions League. And also we have Rivers United against the winners of DR Congo League. Also we have the CAF Confederation Cup where we have Ashanti Koto of Ghana against Kwara United. It's going to be a big battle. And we have Abia Warriors against Juliba or AC right there in that one. Now, quick one. Honorable Shoname has been speaking about how teams cannot strive in the CAF competition. He gave a bold statement saying, when you look at the salary structure, look at the facilities, these players, when they go, I think we spoke about this also last week. Right now, his team is in the CAF Champions League. How far do you see, the MPFL team, go in this first round?
Well, I think it's going to be a very dicey one for MPFL teams, judging by the fact that, the last 10 years has not been really good for Nigerian teams on the continental stage. They have always been dwarfed by the quality of players their opponents, parade, especially North African teams. So it's a disaster that the MPFL has been reduced so much to what we have now. Nigerian teams now crash out of group stages of continental competitions, which should not happen ordinarily. But we feel like teams like Remo Stars, who are now beginning to bring the best set of players you can find in the league and in Africa into their team. So it should be able to help them compete favorably on the continental stage. Don't forget, that when you talk about the South African League, the PSL,
the PSL,
we realize the fact that majority of their players, even in the national team, they play in South Africa.
Yeah, true.
They rarely go out because the pay is okay. The welfareism of the players is well catered for, so they have no reason to rush out of the country. So before you see a South African player plying his or a trade outside, at least you have to try. Only a few of them get to players like Bongani Kumalo at the point traveled abroad.
Yes,
Benny McCarthy, Stephen Pienaar. These are players. A few of them that you actually saw outside, because you know you now. I think Aaron Mokoena at the point also did too. But then the rest, they hardly survive abroad. They prefer to go back home, and they are doing fine. Because if you look at like players like Sifiwe Shabalala, you know they played there in the home league, and they never traveled. Some of them who actually traveled came back,
because they could not survive.
So it's like that. Consistently, they have always maintained that, this is the best place for us to be because we are being paid handsomely well. So that aside, when you look at South Africa, northern teams, northern African teams, you realize the fact that these players too, they rarely go out. I will cite an instance when you look at the Egyptian team of old, Osama El Adari, Mohamed Aboutrika. These are players who played at home. They never bothered to travel. Aboutrika never traveled all through his career. He was always, the award he was always winning it. Best player, best African player playing in Africa. Consistently was winning it because he was doing fine at home. And when you look at Algeria too, you see quality players in Algeria who are actually playing their trade. So before you actually, only a few of them. But take another look at Nigerian players. You see them scattered all over Europe, scattered all over African countries. As close as Benin Republic is, check their league. Majority of Nigerian players, majority of our players play there. When you look at Ghana, you see Nigerian players playing in the Ghana league. How many Ghanaian players are playing in the NPFL? Only maybe a few, just a few. I think Remo Stars had the goalkeeper from Ghana at the point. So it's actually rare to see some of these people leaving their countries to go to other countries. And these are the kind of teams we are going to play when we play continental football. So they have their best players, but our own best players are no longer in the league. They have traveled. So what will you do? That is why teams should look beyond just who brought you here kind of mentality. Players do not have to have godfathers to have a team. We have so many players lying fallow at grassroots level who can actually make a difference if given the opportunity to play professional football. But now scouting is very important. And I think when Shooting Stars was doing their recruitment, it was specifically mentioned that there is a scout who's going to go around and see, there's a next big thing to happen in the African football scene and bring him on board into Shooting Stars. There used to be a time when if you count 10 players in the Super Eagles, Shooting Stars has a sizable number of players in there. So what happened? Why is it that it is even difficult to slot a Shooting Stars player into the Chan team? So it tells you that there is something wrong, and it's not just Shooting Stars. There are other teams who used to be consistent like that, providing superstars for the national team, and they are no longer doing such. Where did they get it wrong? That is why you have to go to the drawing board. But then talking about what Tunde Shoname said, obviously there is a gap between the Nigerian league and other leagues. As we speak.
I think from the gap is actually wide.
In terms of quality of players that are bound in the league, and it cannot be corrected anyway. Like Victor Mbama is coming back, there should be a resurgence. And then most Nigerian players who have played abroad are not doing really fine. Probably they are playing in third, fourth league. Why not play in the MPFL instead of playing those leagues? Because if you compare what you earn there and what you earn here, it might just be close. But they prefer to live abroad. Actually, that's just the word. But well, we hope that we get there. As Kunle Shoname said, a preferred solution, facilities should be improved. Player welfareism should be looked into. And contracts should be contracts. Why would you, as a team, sign a player for just one season? Actually, does that that mean you only need him for 1 season? Why not 2-3 years contract? Why would you sign a 25-year-old player for just 1 season?
1 season.
For crying out loud. So there is fraud going on in there.
Actually.
And should be checked. Because eventually you realize that after 1 season and the player performs, they will tell you, oh, he's not our player, he's also a person that brought him and is gone. Whereas it's not so. The player still belongs. So all these things should be checked. I don't want to go into details of how these things are being done. But basically, as Kunle Shoname said, changes can be done.
All right.
And for us to be consistent on the African stage, we have to make these changes as soon as possible.
All right, yes, sir. And that's just the goal. He set goals this morning. And like I said, I had to call him Mr. Sampson because it looks like he has a goal set ahead for this morning in the world of sport, and he has given us major goals and how we can improve the league going forward. We hope that Remo Stars, Rivers United, Kwara United and Abia Warriors can do us proud on the big stage. Remember, they are playing the CAF Champions League and also CAF Confederations Cup. Now let's talk 3-pointers, 2-pointers, free throws. We are talking basketball. Yes, where we have the Tigers ready and set for Angola, the Afro Basket. Right now, again, Angola already prepared already, and we have the players unveiling already. Now, quickly, the Tigers' final 12-man squad for this year at FIFA Afro Basket Tournament was unveiled on a Saturday. The final squad was published on their X handle. The 12 players made the final shortlist are Josh Okoje, Caleb Agada, Ike Nwamu, Richie Ukwabadu. We have Taliba Zana, Stan Okoye, and Mike Nuga. Also, others are Divine Ike, we have Christian Nkwolu, we have Martins Agbanu, we have Ugo Salmon, and also Emmanuel Omogbo. Those are the players set to win the Afro Basket for us. Also, let me remind you that this year's tournament will be held in Angola, where we'll begin on the 12th of August and end on the 24th of August. The Tigers and Group B with Tunisia, Madagascar, and Cameroon. Nigerian team will begin their campaign on the 13th of August against Madagascar, and on the 15th, they will face Tunisia before rounding off the group stage with a clash against Cameroon on the 17th of August. Also, let me inform you that the Tigers won their first and only Afro Basket in 2015 against defending after defeating, Angola in the final. Remember, the host nations of Angola have defeated them in 2015. How far can we go in the competition is a question within 2 minutes. Captain, how far can we go for the Tigers?
I think it's going to be a very tricky, tournament for the D Tigers. I think we once mentioned that the preparation is not the most solid. We also talked about the fact that, some of these players were drafted in on an impromptu basis, but then they are here, and the final 12-man list is here. We can see a blend of experience in the team and youthfulness, all in together. Players basketballers, players like Ike Nwanu, Caleb Agada in the team, Talib Zana, Stan Okoye, Okoche is still in the team. These are quality players, and Martin Zugbanu also is there. These are players that can actually make a difference, provided the fact that they are blended as a team. But how are they going to do that within a short period of time? Don't forget they play for different teams across the world,
and they just came within
within a short period of time. We want them to actually, work wonders. Things don't work this way, and African teams are always is it an African thing, or is more like the Nigerian thing system, where we follow the fire brigade approach to things, and we are always in a hurry to do things when we had so much time to prepare, but then we tend to neglect some of these times and then focus on it's just a quarter to the tournament. And
I think that for me, I think that the reason being, or the reason why we use the fire brigade approach, because it works. So you look at the preparation for the WAFCON, short time we picked up the trophy. You look at the Tigers, short time we picked up the trophy. So it looks like nobody's going back to the drawing board to say, okay, how do we prepare even better for this competition? But when we come within short time, it works. So everybody is of the belief that short time makes it work. Right?
Yeah, well, you might be right that the last two competitions Nigeria participated in, they prepared within a short period of time and it worked.
Yeah.
But then what is the percentage of those times that we have used Fred Brigade approach and it worked? We have always, there were times like Germany 2006, Super Eagles was meant to be there, but they couldn't go because of, you know, some things that happened, and then all the errors committed, they couldn't qualify. So when you look at the number of times Fire Brigade approach has actually cost the Nigerian teams, you know, the tickets to competitions or probably the trophy, you realize the fact that if we had done better in preparation, when we talk about preparation, it's not really only about players being in camp to train. It's about what do you have on the table? One, when these players come, what is the logistics going to be like? As we speak, they might probably not even know what their match bonuses will be. And these are things that should be on the table already. These players should know exactly what will motivate them, why they are coming on board. That is one. Two, when you are talking about what are the transport arrangements for these players, are they going by private jets? Is the jet booked? Because you already know the date you are leaving the country for this competition, for crying out loud. So why should you wait till it's tomorrow before you start calling, you know, jet owners and say, oh, we want you to take us to... Sometimes they go through, you know, charter flights, and sometimes you realize the fact that they are just on any other flight. So these things should be checked. These are things that should have been done. So when we talk about preparation, it's not just about, you know, being in camp, training. If you like, train from now till tomorrow. If the necessary motivations are not there, what will happen? Players want to be rest assured of what the competition will look like, what the time frame they are going to spend at home will look like for them, how convenient are they going to be. They are much more concerned about that. And you realize the fact that as a Nigerian player that plays abroad, once they come home, most of the time it's not really about the money the government will give them, because what you give them within 1 month, they make in a week.
In a week, true.
Okay, you gave them $100,000, you know, as a gift for winning the competition. Some of these players earn over 100,000 in a week, and that you gave them that for a competition of 1 month. So it tells you that it's not really about, though money is important, but it's not really about the money, because if it was about the money, they probably would have just stayed with the team. But the bragging right, the pride of playing for your team, for your national team, also has a lot to play in this. So you have to make them feel proud of playing for the team. True. So these are things that should be on the table, even before the competition actually comes. But these are things that are not being done properly. We realize the fact that when the competition is almost there, we now begin to rush. You don't even know how much you want to pay each player. You don't even know what flights they are going to be on. You don't even know what hotel they are going to sleep in. These are things that destroys and disturbs players mentally, because they don't want to be the one thinking about these things.
No. They should not even be the one thinking about
They shouldn't even be involved.
They should not be involved.
And then when they are playing, you already said, oh, you are getting $5,000 as match bonuses. Why delay the 5,000? So after each game, give them the 5,000.
Yeah, it becomes better.
It becomes better. But then you now see players going on, you know, industrial action because they have not been given what they have been told they will be given. So all these things should be checked. Be that as it may, the competition is close. We know that the time frame for preparation is not that much. They really didn't have the time to. But then, if all these players can bond outside, you know, the courts, I think they can transfer a little bit of that on the court, and their individual brilliances will do the rest.
All right. Yes, sir. We're just hoping that happens for the Tigers, because they fell short against Guinea in game 2 of the preparations for the AfroBasket 68 to 65. We're hoping for the very best for them. What do you think? How far can they go in the competition right there? Moving away from that, let's talk cycling before we head straight down to Wembley shortly. All your young cyclists dominate 5th Ibadan cycling competition. The 5th Ibadan cycling competition held on Friday, the 8th of August 2025, saw Oyo State young cyclists deliver a dominant performance across all age categories. In the under-7 main division, Amzat Adam took gold ahead of Joseph and Akiola Daniel. The under-7 female race won by Ridwan Fidaus with Aluma Ugomada, and also Abdul Salam finishing 2nd and 3rd. Also, let me let you know that in the under-17 main division, Ajibade Ibrahim secured gold, beating Matters Samuel and Michael Ali in that one. And also this was organized by Lapet Feet in collaboration with Oyo State Cycling Association. The event drew over 150 young cyclists from Oyo, Osun, Lagos and Ogun State. The convener Adebayo Olawale hailed the athlete talent, calling it proof that Nigerian cycling has a bright future. That's the update from the world of cycling. Let's head straight down to Wembley swiftly. And Liverpool fell short to Crystal Palace on penalty shootout. What was it looking like for Liverpool come next season?
I think, their performance against Crystal Palace will not be the yardstick to judge them ahead of the next season.
But actually, it's going to be a yardstick for Crystal Palace ahead of next season.
Of course, it's a moral booster for them, having won the FA Cup and then eventually winning the Community Shield. I think they are going to be bullish going into the next season. Of course, the confidence is high, the momentum is very high, and then that will push them a little bit in the APL, considering the badges that will be on their shoulders this season. It's pride actually going into the season with that. But for Liverpool, I think it's not really a good start. But of course, that's not the yardstick. It's not like they lost scandalously. They were only fell short during penalty shootouts, and any team can actually win a penalty shootout. It's not really about preparation. But then you realize that their new signings also shined. Players like Ekitike, got the first goal. Frimpong, the right back, gotten from Bayer Leverkusen, got their second. Though Mateta and pinned them back at each interval before they headed into the penalties. But all in all, the two teams actually showed exactly that they deserve to be in the finals. If Liverpool could score 2 goals and Crystal Palace said, we can also give you 2 back, it shows that they deserve to be there. And obviously, going into the new season, I think there are lessons learned by Liverpool. And of course, there are experiences and valuable ones picked by Crystal Palace, which will help them going forward. All right.
So quickly before we go, just 2 questions in 1 minute. You're going to answer for me. Van Dijk, the captain, spoke about Luis Diaz, being missing, and Darwin Núñez also. Is that a problem? Because Arne Slot replied saying we have attacking prowess for next season. Also, what do you think about the manager of Crystal Palace, having to win, the Europa League with Frankfurt, also defeating Manchester City in the FA Cup, now Liverpool in the Community Shield. What do you think about this manager and the manager of Crystal Palace, and also the manager the statement from Van Dijk?
Van Dijk had a very good point. These are quality players he's used to. They played together last season, but do not forget that there are new players now, so they have to get used to what they have. And the coach knows exactly the kind of quality. He pointed to these players and told them, this is what I need. And they are here. So the rest of the team will get used to it. And the coach knows exactly how to put them to good use. Do not forget that they are actually, in the real sense of it, Van Dijk is right. 3 of their best players are no longer there. Diogo Jota lost his life in an accident. May Soler is rest in peace. Luis Diaz now plays for Bayern Munich. And then Darwin Núñez is no longer in the team now, has left the team. So these are quality players that are at one point or the other gotten goals for the team, and they are no longer there. But do not forget that they also, bought new attackers. And Ekitike, scored the goal yesterday, even though it's not enough to win the trophy for Liverpool. But then Frimpong also doing fine. These are new players, actually. Trent also left for Real Madrid. These are new players, about 4 or 5 of them in the team. And I feel, of course, when you look at Florian Wies, also in the team, he showed exactly what he's capable of doing. He was almost everywhere, with clear calls, passes there. So it tells you that they are still in the embryo. They are still trying to rebuild. And then by the time the league season starts, first 2-3 games, all these players will know exactly what they are doing.
All right, yes, this is where we draw the curtain for today's show. Yes, I'm going to take a word away from here. They are still in the embryo. That's talking about Liverpool, and we hope that they're able to do something out of the embryo come the season on Friday against Bournemouth. That's the game, the opening game for the Premier League season. The Sports and Family, that's all we can take this wonderful morning on Dominion Television, channel of choice. We're going to see you again tomorrow. Make sure you keep it locked. Make sure you follow, call a friend to tell a friend about Dominion Television. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, and drop your comment. Thank you so much, my producers, the crew. Thank you so much. That's all we can take again. We're going to see you again tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.